Okay, let's start. Okay, I think most people in the audience know me already, right? If in case you don't, my name is Brenda, and I'm the principal of Impact Taxation and Financial Services. We're an accounting practice based in Bangkok CBD. Um, and I have been in accounting industry for a long time. I'm a CPA and also a tax agent. I also put my contact details here. If in case after this seminar you still have questions, please feel free to give me a call. Probably better call my mobile phone number because I'm working from home now because of the coronavirus. Okay, then before we go to the major topics, a few things I'd like to mention. So this seminar is for general information only. As you already know, I'm a tax agent, but interpreting Centrelink policies is not a part of our responsibilities or expertise. So if in case after this seminar, you still have questions, you can still ask me. But if you want a definitive and final answer, you might still have to talk to Centrelink directly. But for any benefits from tax office, you can always check with me. Or if you have another preferred tax agent, please talk to your tax agent too. Okay, that's the first thing I want to mention. Second thing is after each topic, when I finish, you will have a chance to ask questions on that topic. But when you ask questions, please make sure you don't mention any confidential details because this session will be recorded and uploaded to YouTube. So you don't want to reveal any confidential information to the public. Okay, that's the second thing. Last thing is also the most important thing is one individual or one business might be eligible to receive multiple benefits. So please make sure you pay attention to every single topic we're going to go through today. And this is especially important if you are running a business. So business owners, you might have quite a few benefits that you can receive. So make sure you pay attention. Okay, so now let's go to the major part. The first topic I want to mention is income support for individuals. So this one is recently a lot of people talking about job seeker payment. So it's a little bit misleading because job seeker is one of the existing Centrelink payment before this whole coronavirus benefits. So at the moment, the only new thing that's going to happen is the new coronavirus supplement. And the supplement, the amount is $550 per fortnight, is on the top of the original payment that people were already receiving from Centrelink. So there are a few benefits. Job seeker is one of them. Okay, so is probably the most confusing part. A lot of people, when they're talking about job seeker payment, they only thought that they will receive this $550 by itself. It's not the case. So there will be an underlying benefit, a pre-existing benefit that's already there. So you'll receive a certain amount if you're eligible from that original benefit. Then on top of it, if you're eligible, you'll receive this $550 on the top. Okay, and then another probably another big difference is the original benefit that Centrelink is giving out. They are expanding the group of people so that more people can start receiving them. So that's the two major difference on the income support. Okay, so income support, another confusion is sometimes people can't tell the difference between job seeker payment and job keeper payment. So job seeker is actually paid by Centrelink. Job keeper payment is from tax office. So later on, when we touch on job keeper, I'll give you more details on that side. So job seeker or income support is paid from Centrelink, okay? And this one, individuals apply by themselves. So it's not through a business, it's by individuals, apply directly from Centrelink, okay? And then also more people can have access of the current benefit. Okay, so that's the first thing I want to mention. Next slide. So when you're eligible, as I mentioned, you are going to receive the original benefit and then the 550 supplement per fortnight on the top. Then on top of that, potentially, if eligible, you can also receive rent assistance if you are renting. Also, energy supplement, a few dollars every fortnight. Okay. Then, so let's go through who's going to be eligible to receive, okay, the original benefit, and also who's going to be eligible to receive that $550. So job seeker payment is one of them that will receive that $550 supplement. Then use allowance, parenting payment, out study, app study, farm household allowance, special benefit recipients. So that's all the benefit that as long as at the time when the government is giving out the supplement, if they are receiving one of those benefits, they will receive the $550 supplement. Okay. Okay, next thing is expanded access. That means more people will be able to receive those benefits I mentioned. So especially job seeker payment. Okay, now if you want to apply for a job seeker payment, if you're a sole trader, you're self-employed, you're a casual worker, or you're a contract employee, you can apply directly to Centrelink. And then also the government have removed the asset test. So before, for job seeker payment, use allowance and parenting payment, there used to be an asset test. But now Centrelink remove asset test, only income test there now. But that's only for the next 6 months. Okay, and they reduced waiting time. Before, for those benefits, you had to wait for 1 week waiting period, but now they have waived that waiting period. Okay, so more people will be able to receive those benefits, and then it's going to be easier to have access. Okay, so this one is focusing on the easier access. So if you don't have MyGov ID, MyGov account, you can call Service Australia. So Service Australia is equivalent to Centrelink. Then you can verify your ID on the phone, and then to get a CRN number. Then after that, you can directly apply through your MyGov account. Okay. And then initially for job seeker payments, they only just need to make a declaration. So basically on their job and income status, they need to make a declaration to qualify for the payment and also to qualify for rent assistance. So before, government actually need to ask for a lot of other documents. So say, for example, if you're unemployed, you have to provide employment separation certificate, or if you're renting, you have to provide proof of rental arrangement. But they have removed all of that at the moment. Okay, so that's that one. The timing of it. Okay, you can start applying now. So basically, from 25th of March, what I've mentioned earlier, that easier access for payments, that all the change would have started already from 25th of March. So if you apply after that date, you can start getting a benefit already. Okay, so get a benefit already, but that's the base part of the amount. If you apply and you are eligible to receive job seeker payment, you will start getting that base part of the job seeker payment already. Then starting from 27th of April, you will start receiving per fortnight $550 on that new coronavirus supplement. Okay, so because when I'm sharing my screen, I can't go back to see the messages. What I'll do is I'm going to continue and finish this part. Once we reach the end, I'm going to go and come back and have a look at people's questions. And then if you have any questions, you can also ask me as well. Okay, so let me continue. Now it's question time. So that was actually the last slide for that section. So let me go back to the chat box. Okay. Oh, would you send us a PDF of this presentation? Definitely. I will send everyone, or maybe send me an email if you have, for anyone who already have my email address, send me an email and then I'll just send this PDF document as an attachment to your email box. Okay, so on income support for individuals, does anyone have any question? You can actually unmute your microphone to ask a question, or if you don't feel comfortable to speak, you can just type it here. Okay, do you have to be on Centrelink to apply for these benefits? Yes, you have. You have to. So if in case you were on Centrelink before to receive those, so say for example, if for someone who was already receiving job seeker payment before, that person doesn't need to do anything. So basically, from 27th of April, he will start receiving on top of the original benefit amount he was receiving already. He will start receiving another $550 on the top. That's starting from 27th of April. But if someone who was never with Centrelink before, he does have to apply. Okay, he need to, if he never receive any government benefit, he need to give Centrelink a call. First thing is to get a CIN number and then link MyGov to it, and then that person can apply directly from MyGov to Centrelink. Does that answer your question? Okay, next question. Let's have a look. Sorry, I missed the very beginning. So this job seeker payment is only for Australian citizen, right? Okay, so this one is basically for any government benefit, is mainly focused on Australian citizen and people who are holding a PR visa. But what we can do is maybe later on, you can send me an email. I'm going to go back to Centrelink website to double check. From my memory, it's only for Australian citizen and PR. Okay. Then what number? Okay, someone asked what number to call Centrelink, right? Okay, that is actually, if you go to Google, search Service Australia, or maybe even easier, just search job seeker payment, how to apply. Then there should be some phone numbers from Services Australia to guide you through. Then you just give them a call. Okay. Any other questions, or does anyone want to speak? Okay, and one more question. So is there an income tax applied to the spouse as well? Yes, yes, there is. So basically, I couldn't find the information on Services Australia official website, but there was a government announcement recently. Basically, the original income tax was, I remember, was like 48K. So if once your spouse income is reaching 48K, you can't receive any job seeker payment. Okay, but now they have increased that amount to, I think it was 79K or close to 80K. So as long as your spouse doesn't earn an income above that threshold, you can receive a part of the job seeker payment. Okay, and then income tax is actually quite complicated. If anyone have time, and then just go to Google and search by job seeker income tax. It will direct you to a site, a link to Services Australia to show you what's going to be the income tax and how to do the calculation. Because depending on whether you're single, whether you're married, whether you have children, then the income tax is very different. So first, you need to pick up that category that's the best fitting in your personal situation, and then you'll know what's going to be the income. Okay, so it's actually not that easy for me to. It's not like just one cut. Like I wish it's that simple, but it's not. Okay, then the next question, is there a waiver for the waiting period before you receive parental payment? So I guess so. I think that's the case. I think at the moment, probably most of Centrelink benefits, if you are eligible, they are waiving the waiting periods because everyone needs their income urgently. But what I'll suggest is go to Services Australia, go to Centrelink website to have a look. Okay, or give them a call to make sure that particular benefit you are applying, they are removing the waiting period, just to be certain. Okay. All right. Is there any more questions on this topic? Okay, if not, let's continue to the next one. All right. Okay, I'm gonna start to next one. Okay, next one is one of the other most popular ones that's quite relevant to an individual too. So I've put all the government benefit that's more relevant to individuals first, and then the second part of the seminar, I'm going to focus a little bit more on businesses. Okay, so on JobKeeper payment, the major difference is paid through tax office. So for this one, tax office is managing all the payment, okay? And the amount is $1,500 per fortnight per employee. So this is the before tax income. So it's going to be included as an employee's before tax income, okay? And the payment will be received by employers. Then the employers pass down to employees. But self-employed people are different. So they can be eligible too. So I'll go through the eligibilities later. But self-employed people, they have to apply by themselves, and then they receive the money directly to their own bank accounts. Okay, and then the employers will have to register with tax office and apply to tax office. So of course, if you're self-employed, you have to apply yourself. Okay, so that's the major difference between JobKeeper and job seeker payment. All right, and then eligible employers. So here is a list. So what type of employers are eligible? So if their sales turnover is less than $1 billion a year, their sales turnover have to be reduced by 30% relative to a comparable period a year ago. So what's a comparable period? Some people might ask, is the months from the last year, the same months, or the same quarter. So you compare the same months from last year to the months this year, or the quarter. Then if your sales turnover reduced 30%, if your total annual turnover is less than 1 billion, reduced by 30%, then the employer will be eligible. Okay, then for anyone whose sales turnover is above 1 billion, the reduction of the sales amount have to be more than 50%. Then that employer will be eligible. Okay, but I think the first one, sales turnover below 1 billion, will cover most of the businesses. And charities also can be eligible if their turnover has fallen by 15%. All right, and then if the business is not subject to the major bank levy. All right, that's it. So, and this list is the eligibilities for employees. So the employees have to be currently employed by the eligible employer. And then very important, This is including those people who stood down or rehired. So say some people, if a business is having a financial difficulty, before, because the key date is actually 1st of March. So 1st of March, there have to be an employer-employee relationship. But what if an employee was stood down before this date and then come back after 1st of March? Then that employee can be included, okay, for the employer to receive that $1,500 per fortnight, okay, for that person. And then all rehired. Some people maybe was made redundant before this date and then come back after 1st of March, then that's okay. All right, so include those employees as well. And then it basically only including full-time, part-time employees if they were hired on that date, 1st of March 2020 is a key and critical date. Or long-term cashiers. So the long-term cashiers have worked for this employer on a regular basis for long-term. Long-term means 12 months period. So that means from 1st of March 2019, that person was already working for this employer as a casual employee. Okay, and next thing, that person have to be more than 16 years old and need to be Australian citizen, PR, or if they're holding some special visa. So including 444, for New Zealand people. Okay, and also one person can only receive one JobKeeper payment. So that means if someone works for multiple employers, he can only receive the JobKeeper payment from one source, not from different employers. So only from one. Okay, that's for this one. Okay, how to apply? What's going to be the application process? For businesses with employees, okay, you can register interest with tax office from 30th of March 2020. So you can do it now. But that's only to register interest. You leave your contact details and then tax office can come back to inform you the next step. Okay, then we still don't know the official opening date yet. So once they are ready to receive online applications, the employer needs to go to ATO website and lodge an online application with tax office. Okay, then the next step is employers have to identify which employees are eligible to receive JobKeeper payment. And then they have to provide this information on a monthly basis to tax office so that tax office know how many people is in their payroll. Okay, and then when employers receive this $1,500, they need to make sure they have to pass it down to employees. So pass it down meaning employees can receive at least $1,500 per fortnight before tax. So that means if some people received less than this amount, they are going to have a top up and start receiving $1,500 per fortnight. If someone received more than this amount before already, then that amount doesn't change. That person will keep receiving the previous amount. But the only difference, I guess, is with the employer. So for anyone who receives more than that amount, they receive a part of it as to help them with their cash flow, for any employees who they were already paying more than $1,500 per fortnight. Okay, so if in case someone earned less than that amount before, the employers can make a decision on that additional part on the top, whether they want to pay super guarantee. Okay, that's something quite important. If for some business owners, they need to know how to handle that and what flexibilities they do have. Okay. For businesses without employees, so that's most of them are self-employed people. They same process, register interest, lodge an online application when they start, and then they need to pass information to the tax office. So for other businesses, they need to provide a lot of details. So if they had employees, so basically the payment from tax office, majority of it will be based on their single touch payroll. So if with employees, they will also verify with single touch payroll lodgement to see how many employees you have reported that's in your payroll. And then also these businesses, they have to send evidence to tax office to tell tax office how did I decide, that 30% decrease of my sales. Okay, so that's a major difference. Self-employed people, they can send in a declaration instead of all the evidence. They can send in a declaration to say, okay, my business has reduced compared to equivalent period last year, has reduced by 30% on the sales turnover. So it's a declaration replacing a lot of evidence or documents you have to send in if you did have employees. Okay, and then of course, you always need to lodge a monthly update to tax office as well to make sure that you are still eligible. Okay, so the payment will be made monthly to the individual's bank account. So for any businesses who doesn't have employees, only one person can be nominated to receive the JobKeeper payment. So this is applicable to business structures such as a family trust, partnership, okay, or companies or shareholders might be receiving dividends from the company if they are not earning salary or wages from the business. So the major difference here is, okay, if a business, say, for example, is a family trust, then they do hire employees, or maybe a part of the family is receiving or receiving salary from the family trust, then those people can be included as employees to receive this JobKeeper payment, $1,500 per fortnight. But if the only people receiving profit from the family trust is through profit distribution to beneficiaries, so the beneficiary only just receiving income from the business without working in the business or receiving a salary, then in that situation, only one beneficiary can be nominated to receive this JobKeeper payment. So in a similar token, for partnership or for a company that or shareholders only receiving dividend from a company instead of working in the company as an employee or as a director to receive salary and wages, then that company can only nominate one person to receive this payment. So here might be a little bit confusing, but if in case you are a business owner, you have more questions on this, please let me know, and then we can have a more detailed discussion on this one after the seminar. Okay. Okay, now it's question time. So does anyone have any questions on JobKeeper payment? I think there were a few messages already. Okay, two messages. Let's have a look. My partner was receiving our study before I started working, as the income test has changed now. So will he receive payment as I am below the threshold now? Okay, that's going to be a difficult question. I probably need more details. It's probably the best choice for you is to talk to Centrelink, because different people also depend on whether you have children as well. And yeah, because income tax for any categories, there are a lot of other factors you need to consider. It's not just one number fit all. So maybe after the seminar, give me a call. So to the person who's asking this question, give me a call. I'll try my best to find out for you. If I can't give you a definitive answer, you can give Centrelink a call. How about that? Okay, next question. What happens if the business was established for less than 1 year? Okay, that's a good question. Then in that case, there is not eligible. So you have to be more than a year, because tax office have made it really clear. You need to be able to compare to equivalent period from the year before. So, and that's it's a part of the regulation. All right. And also another thing is, I think I remember in one of their documents, they did mention a little bit flexibility on the 1 year rule. Let me double check for you. I think for this one, they mentioned that the tax commissioner can make a decision. So you might need to apply a ruling to tax office to see whether you are eligible if your business started less than a year. Okay, because it's actually not exactly the same as what was in the government policy. Okay, next question. If one earns above the tax threshold, can his/her unemployed partner apply for job seeker payment? Okay, if one earns above the tax threshold, so the threshold is actually from Centrelink. Oh, this one. Sorry. I'm talking about JobKeeper payment. So JobKeeper payment. I don't understand what do you mean by tax threshold, because there's no tax threshold here for JobKeeper payment for an individual. So basically, if you are working for an employer, then the employer is eligible, you are eligible as an employee, then you can receive at least that $1,500 per fortnight. And it's also nothing related to the partner. So for this one, I know it's a little bit confusing between JobKeeper and job seeker payment. So JobKeeper payment, the main part you need to consider is your employer eligible? And then are you eligible as an employee? Once you're both eligible, then you can receive that amount of money. So it's nothing related to the income from your spouse. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. Let's have a look. Are there any more questions? Okay, no more questions. Okay, there's more question. I'm asking about job seeker, not keeper. Okay, because we finished that section. So sorry, I thought you were asking about job keeper payment. So let me go. Okay, so the recent threshold for a partner, as I mentioned earlier, I think the government have already announced 80K or 79K. If someone's earning that amount already, then the spouse won't be eligible to receive job seeker anymore, because the partner or the spouse is already having income about the cutoff point. Does that make sense? But I do suggest you to go to Services Australia website to have a look. Income test for job seekers. Then it will direct you to a web page. Then you can find all the details. And then, as I mentioned, it's also depend on your family status as well. Do you have children? For single people have children, they'll receive more. So their cutoff amount when they stop receiving job seeker payment is actually quite high, much higher than people without children. Okay, so have a look on the website and then find your own category. Then you'll know the income tax, how much it's going to be. All right. Okay. So does anyone have more questions? Anyone else? If not, I'm going to go to the next topic. All right. So let's have a look at the next topic. Okay, this one is quite simple. It's called economic support payment. It's just a one-off payment for $750. So for all the people who's already receiving government benefits from Centrelink, they will receive that amount of money. So for most of people, they will receive it. So it's paid between 31st of March to 17th of April. So some people would have already received it, and then most of the people will receive probably by 13th. I think 13th or 14th, 90% of the people will receive it. And then for this one, people don't need to do anything. So for those people who are already received the benefit, the payment will be automatically paid to their bank account. Okay, that's this one. So who's eligible? So anyone receiving government benefit will receive it. So most of them, okay. And then, so the eligibility, okay, the first one is they have to be living in Australia between 12th of March to 13th of April. And then if they were receiving benefit, those list of those benefits, they will receive that $750. Okay. Or if they were holding a government concession card or receiving money from Department of Veterans Affairs. Okay, and then okay, there will be a second economic support payment if you are still receiving those benefits from the government. On the 13th of July, you will receive a second $750 from the government. But this one is not open to people who are receiving coronavirus supplement at that point of time. Okay, so if anyone apply now, you are going to receive the job seeker payment. But if you're receiving coronavirus supplement in July, you're not going to receive this second $750. Okay, so that's this one. Okay, question time. This one is quite simple. I'm not expecting a lot of questions, but if in case anyone have any question, you can ask me. All right, no questions. Let's go to the next topic. All right, early access to super. So if you're eligible, you can withdraw money from your super fund. The amount is going to be $10,000 each financial year, from this financial year to next financial year. Okay, so $10,000 before June, so before June 30 this year, and then next financial year another $10,000, right? So who's eligible? If you are unemployed, or you are eligible to receive the following: so job seeker payment or use allowance, parenting payment, special benefit, farm household allowance. Okay, and then all on or after 1st of January, you were made redundant, or your working hours reduced by 20%. If you're a sole trader, your sales turnover reduced by 20% or more. So that's the eligibility for early access to super. So how to apply? You need to apply directly to tax office. So this is a website, and the next step is tax office. Once they receive your application and process it, they will issue you with a determination and pass a copy of it to your super fund. Then your super fund will pay you directly to your bank account. But before the whole process, it's better recommended that you talk to your super fund first, just so that they know that the process you have started the process of application, and also you need to pass your bank account details to them and make sure once they receive the determination from tax office, they can transfer the money to the correct bank account. Okay, the timing application will start from mid-April, but tax office didn't release a date yet, a final date for the application. Okay, now it's question time for early access to super. I think there was one message. Let me have a look. Okay, if you get the job keeper payment, can you also get the job seeker payment? This is a very good question. Okay, so it all depends on how much income you're going to have. So when you think about it, job keeper is going to be included as a part of your income, before tax income. And then to be eligible for job seeker, there are income tests. So what I'm always suggesting to people is if you think, okay, at this point of time, you might be eligible to receive job seeker payment already, then apply first with Centrelink. Okay, then if they pay you, receive the money. And because the job keeper payment is going to, okay, of course, it's going to start from 30th of March, but the first payment will come out from in May, 1st of May, or the first week of May. You'll be paid to the employer to be passed to the employee. So after you receive the job seeker payment, and then if later on you start receiving job keeper payment again, the first point of time you need to go back to Centrelink to tell them my income level changed, and then Centrelink will need to adjust how much money they pay to you. So potentially it is possible you receive both. Okay, because if you go to have a look at the job seeker income test, some people's income test is actually more than $1,500 per fortnight. So what does it mean is if after they apply, then later on, if they do start receiving job keeper payment again, then they inform Centrelink, they change their income level, then from the original full amount of job seeker payment is going to be changed to a part payment. Does that make sense? So change to a part payment, but even though it's changed to a part payment, if they are still receiving even a part of job seeker payment, then starting from 27th of April, they will still receive that full amount of $550 per fortnight. So that $550 supplement, coronavirus supplement, is going to be fixed. So as long as someone is eligible to receive job seeker payment, they will receive that $550. So even part benefit can receive $550 per fortnight. All right. Does that answer your question? Or another example, maybe say potentially someone's income or say income test was say $1,100 before to be able to be eligible to receive job seeker payment from Centrelink. Then suddenly this person start to receiving job keeper payment for $1,500 per fortnight. Then of course, once that person inform Centrelink, okay, my current income is going to be $1,500 per fortnight. Of course, that person will stop being eligible to receive job seeker payment anymore. Then if he's not receiving job seeker payment, of course, he's not receiving the coronavirus supplement, because the supplement is on top of the benefit that you are eligible to receive. Does that make sense? Does anyone have any more questions on this? Okay, if not, I'm going to continue to the next topic. All right. Okay, let's go to the next topic. Okay, next one, actually from this point, for the next couple of topics will be more focused on business owners or employers. Okay, so this one is boosting cash flow for employers. So basically, for any business who's paying salary or wages to an employee, they can receive from $20,000 to $100,000 per year as a cash flow payment from the government. So that's basically more covering the PAYG payment they're paying to tax office. Okay, PAYG withholding. Let me have a sip of water. Okay, the first payment a business will receive from 28th of April. So once you lodge your BAS return, if you lodge early, you're not going to receive it early. You'll receive it after, from 28th of April. Okay, so that's a summary. Okay, what type of business are eligible? Okay, the business must have an ABN on 12th of March and continues to be active. So some businesses had an ABN, but it's not doing anything. You just left there as a shell. So those businesses are not eligible. Okay, annual turnover have to be under 50 million. Okay, and then they're making eligible payments. We'll go through what's eligible payments later on. So if they make eligible payments, mainly salary and wages to their employees, and they also have a withholding. So even if the amount to be withheld is zero, that's okay too, because as everyone knows, if you're paying a monthly amount, say below the tax-free threshold, so every year, you know the $18,000 is tax-free already. If you're paying, say, $1,000 a month, of course, for that person, you're not going to withhold any any tax from his pay. But even if this amount is zero, you can still receive the 20K, because 20K is a starting point. You can still receive the 20K payment from tax office. Okay. Then the other conditions is you have to have derived business income in 2019 tax year and lodged your 2019 tax return before the 12th of March. So this, and also you have lodged a GST return for one of the periods before. So this requirement, the last two requirements, is more for tax office to know your annual turnover from the prior year. If you're not meeting the requirement here, you can always, or we can help you to send a tax ruling to tax office, because in their document they also mentioned the tax commissioner can make a decision. If in case you're not doing those things, you didn't lodge any returns before, then they can make a decision on whether to give this to you. Okay. All right. Okay, if a business is not for profit organizations, then this is a requirement. So of course they still have to have an ABN on the 12th of March, and then they have employees, they make the payments, and or if anyone registered with ACNC, they're eligible. Okay. And if they don't have tax exemption from tax office and they're required to lodge a tax return, their annual turnover have to be under 50 million as well. All right. Okay. So what's the eligible payment? So mainly salary and wages, or director fees. You know, directors sometimes have a consulting role to the business instead of like getting salary and wages. So if they're getting payment from the business as a salary employee, or they're charging director fees, then they're eligible to be included as this PAYG payment. Okay, then of course there are other things like eligible retirement or termination payment, compensation payment, or sometimes some business voluntarily withhold from payments to contractors. All right. Okay, the timing of the payments. If the business is lodging quarterly, let me just double check the messages. I think my internet is a little bit slow. Can everyone still hear me? Or can still see my screen? Because I got a message to say that the internet speed is a little bit slow. Okay, that's cool. So it's okay. Okay, let's continue then. All right. I think at the moment, a lot of people are working from home, so that's probably impacting on the internet speed. Okay, let's continue. So the timing of the payment, basically, if you're lodging quarterly, I might just focus on the quarterly lodgement. If you're lodging quarterly, then for the March payment, okay, March payment, the due date here I've listed, that's more for businesses if they were lodging by themselves. So if they were lodging by themselves, this is the due date. If you're lodging with a tax agent, the due date is roughly a month later. Okay, so you need to make sure you lodge your BAS on time. Okay, and then basically for quarter 3, so March quarter, June quarter, you receive the payment for this financial year. Then in September quarter, you receive more. So in total, you receive 20K to 100K. Okay, let me show you the next slide. Okay, so basically for March quarter, you'll receive between $10,000 to $50,000, and then June quarter, 5,000 to 25,000. So to be easier for business owners to do the calculation, okay, if your PYG withholding for March quarter is below $5,000, let's say it's below $5,000, it could be $1, could be 0, okay, then that means you can increase it to $5,000 because when you think about that minimum payment for 20K divided by 4 to each quarter is 5,000. All right, so that means you are eligible to receive the 20K for the year. All right, if your March quarter PYG is above 25K, so that's equivalent to the 100K for year for the maximum, okay, then you are eligible to receive 100K for the year. Okay, then anywhere in between, that's going to be the amount you receive, like everything related to boosting cash flow for this type of payment. Okay, so between 20K to 100K. Once you know that amount for your business, okay, 50% of that amount you will receive after lodging March BAS, so 50%. So if you're eligible to receive 20K for the year, you receive $10,000 after March quarter. All right, and then another 25% you'll receive after lodging June quarter. So if you're eligible to receive 20K for the year, you receive $5,000 after June quarter. Then another remainder 25% you will receive in September quarter next financial year. All right, so this is how the payment will be paid out. Okay, so now let's have a look at our questions. I think there are already a couple of messages. Okay. Okay, someone asked, I haven't lodged my tax return yet. I plan to do it May 2020 for 2019 tax year. Yeah, that should be okay. So basically that requirement on lodgement is more for tax office to know how much you have sold. So how much was your sales turnover the year before? So whether you're meeting that threshold requirement. So because you're meeting the requirement of the due date anyway, because you're lodging with the tax agent, the due date is going to be 15th of May, so that should be okay. All right. Okay, any other questions on the boosting cash flow for employers? If no more questions, I'm going to go to the next topic. All right, so let's go to the next topic. Okay, now this one is only for businesses located in New South Wales. So New South Wales government has announced only, I believe was only a few days ago, $10,000 per business, a cash payout, a government grant. Okay, so how to be eligible? Okay, if you have between 1 to 19 employees and a turnover of more than 75K, then you can have it. Okay, payroll below the payroll tax threshold, 900K. And then you must have had an ABN as of 1st of March. And then you have to be based in New South Wales and employed staff as at 1st of March as well. And then your business was highly impacted by coronavirus because of the recent government regulations on social distancing. Okay, then the funding is mainly used for business expenses that are not avoidable. Examples are utilities, overheads, legal costs, and financial advice. Okay. Okay, so that's that one. I'm just going to, so this one are more the less popular government benefits. I'm going to combine them together. Then I'll give everyone a chance to ask questions at the end. Okay, so the next thing is rental waiver or deferral for commercial tenants. So for businesses who are renting their commercial offices, basically, as Scott Morrison announced this, I believe was yesterday or the day before. So the landlords have to give them major discounts. So if they were impacted by coronavirus and their sales turnover have reduced, that we're talking about the tenants, then the landlords are required to give them a discount. Okay, that's proportional on the sales reduction, and then also a deferral, okay, up to 12 months. And then also eviction of tenants is not allowed. Okay, landlords are not allowed to terminate the lease as well or draw on the tenant security. So how to be eligible? So if the landlord or tenant are eligible for the job keeper program, so not only the tenant, if the landlord is receiving job keeper payment from the government, then all their tenants, they have to provide this discount or deferral for them. Okay, then also properties with a turnover of more than 50 million, of 15 million or less, $15 million or less. Okay, so that's okay. Then a list of other new policies. They were all included in the government packages, so I just quickly mention them. I don't think they are eligible to a lot of people. Okay, so the first one is for retirees. So they have a temporary reduction in the superannuation minimum drawdown. For retired people, if they have a super fund, when they draw out their super fund, they have to meet a percentage requirement every year on the minimum draw out amount. So recently, because of the share market, the investment asset, they are quite volatile. So the government actually changed that drawdown requirement, basically halved the original percentage requirement. And then the second change to the retirees, when they receive government pension, there's there is an income test. The income test, a part of the calculation, is using a deeming rate to calculate their financial asset as a part of their income. So that deeming rate has been reduced by the government. So it's just like another way to give them more money from their pension. So that's for retirees. For businesses, there is a temporary relief for businesses for 6 months if their creditors are chasing debts from them. So before, if they owe money like more than $2,000, the creditors can actually sue them and then require basically bring them to court, and then at the end, if they don't pay, they will be forced to have to liquidate. And so now that Corporations Act basically changed. The threshold changed from $2,000 to $20,000. The time is changed from 21 days to 6 months. So basically give them a breathing time during this hard period. Okay, also directors, they have a temporary relief from personal liability for trading when the company is insolvent. So before, if they were their company is already insolvent, they are still engaging other businesses on goods and services, then their personal asset could be tapped in if they were sued, and then they like creditors asking for compensation. Okay, but now that is changed from the law temporarily. For individuals, that's on individual bankruptcy or insolvency. So similar to the business, the minimum threshold increased from $5,000 before to $20,000 now. The time frame has increased from 21 days to 6 months. Okay, so that's on some other new policies. And then other support, I just want to quickly mention here. There's a 6 months temporary ban on evictions for renters. So this one we're talking about residential tenants. Okay, if they are in financial distress for 6 months, it's not allowed to kick them out, basically. Okay, so all landlord need to know. Okay, and then at the same time, because the pressure now is passed to the landlords, because what if a landlord can't pay back a loan to the bank if they don't receive the rental payment? So that all the major banks have offered defer, basically on residential loan. So basically, if you have a residential loan, then you can defer the payment for up to 6 months. So that's for residential loans, also for small businesses as well. And what it is not removing of those payments. So those payments will still be there. What the bank will do is they're going to defer it to your future payment. So your future payment will be increased to include for this 6 months if you stop payment. Okay, so your future payment will increase to cover this part that you didn't pay. Okay, that's for this one. Then other things including, state government, every single state taking actions as well. So they're waiving government fees, especially for businesses who are paying payroll tax. Okay, also for anyone who still have a tax debt to ATO, let us know. We can help you to defer your debt or potentially organize a payment plan for you as well. So with a payment plan, typically you can pay one amount and split it to 12 months. So basically 12 months installment. Instead of paying it right now, you can pay it on a monthly basis and pay 1/12 of the original amount. Okay, and use 1 year to pay it off. All right, so okay, now is the question time, the final question time on all the topics I have covered. Does anyone have any questions? So let's have a look at the chat box. Oh, that's okay. Someone had to leave to another meeting. That's okay. So does anyone have any other questions? how do we apply for the New South Wales grant? Okay, this one will be from the government of, from the New South Wales government. Do residential loans include investment property? Yes, I believe so. And also, I just want to quickly mention, we have contacts, business associates for all major banks. So for all the big banks, if you have any questions, let me know, then I can pass you the contact details on their lending managers. So residential loans include investment properties, because when you look at your bank accounts, you can see residential loan. Okay, so they are included as well. All right, any other questions? Okay, if nobody else have any other questions, we can end the session now. If in case you have any other questions, feel free to give me a call, drop me an email. And oh, there's one more question. How to get access to JobKeeper application form? Okay, JobKeeper, in one of the earlier slides, I'm going to send this PDF. If you need a copy of this PDF, let me know, I'll send it to you. So the application process for JobKeeper is you can register interest. So go to, or you can just go to Google, say register interest for JobKeeper, then it will direct you to ATO link. And then you just start from there, register interest, fill in your contact details, ABN number, and then, but the official online application process haven't started yet. Okay, I think it probably will start the next couple of weeks. All right, so after you register interest and leave your contact details with tax office, then when there's any changes, they will let you know. All right. Any more questions from anyone? Okay, no more. Okay, that's cool. In that case, I'm going to end the session. Thank you everyone for attending. Thank you. And then also this session is recorded. I'm going to send a link to everyone as well. So if you want to come back and refresh your memory on any topics, the government is probably still going to update on some of the items because as you know, at the moment, the information is still in some areas still quite limiting, but I'll keep sending you updates. If there are a lot of new information, I might organize another similar seminar so that everyone can be kept in loop. All right. Okay, thank you so much for everyone. Look after yourselves. I'll talk to you later. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.